In the past few videos, we've hit the highlights of the home buying and selling process. Now I've gathered a few questions from social media that will hopefully give you even more insight. The first question I received is, what do realtors do besides show houses? Well, showing houses is actually such a small portion of our job. The majority of our time is spent staying up to date on the market, knowing trusted vendors to recommend to you, writing legally binding contracts and knowing them from front to back in order to protect you and your investment. We're in constant contact with the lender, the title agent, the other agents, anyone that is involved in your contract. We're making sure that everyone does exactly what they're supposed to do when they're supposed to do it in order to stay within the guidelines of the contract. One of my most important jobs, I feel, is to always review over all documents, including the closing statement, to make sure that all the numbers are exactly what was spelled out in the contract. That only mentions just a few of the things that we do. The second question I received is, what are all of the upfront costs in addition to a down payment? The big ones you should be prepared for are earnest money, and this amount can vary as there's no rule. However, it's a good practice to count on it being around 1% of the purchase price. The second amount you should expect is a home inspection fee. And while this amount varies also, for an average size home and a basic home inspection, you can count on it being somewhere between the $300 to $500 range. Next, you have your appraisal fee. You should ask your lender about this as they handle that, but you can expect, again, for it to be somewhere around the $300 to $500 range. Lastly, you'll have closing costs. Closing costs include items such as loan origination fees, underwriting fees, title search fees, and title insurance. Now, it's always a good idea to get an estimate from your lender before you make an offer on a home so you'll know exactly what to expect. Again, a general rule of thumb is somewhere between the 3% to 3.5% of the purchase price. If you don't have that amount tucked away, don't worry. There are other options, so make sure you ask your realtor or your lender. The third question I received is, should I upgrade my home before I sell? Well, upgrades really vary. Most upgrades will help your home show better and sell quicker. However, not all of them will yield you a profit. My best recommendation would be to have a realtor out to your home that you know and that you trust to make a recommendation based on the current state of your home and the neighborhood that it's in. The fourth question is, how is the value of my home determined? We did touch on this a little bit in video 1, but the market determines the value of your home. What I do is I run a CMA, or a comparative market analysis, for all of my clients. This allows me to look at homes that are currently on the market or have recently sold in the area. And by looking at what the asking price was versus what the sales price was, how many days it was on the market, and if there were any price reductions, gives me a really great idea at what we should list your home for. The final question I received is, why should I work with a realtor instead of alone? I'll answer this with a recent situation I had. I had a client that listed their home for sale by owner. They had it for sale by owner for a full month, and they received several calls but never got to the point of anyone actually coming to look at the home. They reached out to me and asked me if I would list their home, and I was happy that they trusted me to do that for them. I listed it, and within 2 days, we had 12 offers on the home. Now, I also listed it slightly above asking price, slightly above comps. And within 2 days, we had 12 offers, including several perks for my sellers. We ended up closing on that home with several thousand above what we asked. It's always great to have a knowledgeable professional walking alongside you in any type of transaction, especially some that are this large. If I can ever be that for you, please don't hesitate to call me. Thanks again for watching, and I hope to talk to you soon.